this morning we're still running with the Italy theme. I have lost my hat because I wanted to show off the new haircut, but we're definitely still cooking lots of Italian here at home, still inspired by our travels. And one of the things we loved, absolutely loved while we were traveling was the gnocchi. Now, gnocchi can be a bit tricky because it comes down to the potato, and when I give you the recipe for gnocchi, you're not going to stick to it when you make it at home, and I don't want you to stick to the recipe because I'm going to teach you actually how to adjust for your potatoes. I'm using a red potato today, red skin potatoes, so they're white flesh. These potatoes range from waxy to floury. Typically you want to stick towards your more floury types of potatoes, and I'll stick some information out on the recipe as well about sort of the best types of potatoes to use. But I have these today, I have the red potato. I'm going to teach you how to adjust for the actual potato you're using as well. So we all know flour, when you use flour, different absorbency, and potatoes are going to be the same. So some are going to be more watery than others, some are going to be more floury, and some are going to be more waxy. So yes, you can use a waxy potato. Will you get as good a result? Probably not, but red potatoes give you a nice firm gnocchi. So that's what we're using today. All we need to do is stick a kilo of these in our water. We want the water to be cold when we start. We're going to bring them to a boil. We're going to use the salt pig and get the salt out. We're going to salt that water. Now, taste your salt before you use it. This one's a very, very salty rock salt, so I won't use too much in my water, but I have a fair amount of water in there for the potatoes. We're going to boil those away. They'll take about an hour, and we'll see you back here when they're done. So whilst all of my potatoes are cooking away, I thought I would get started on my sauce. So I've got a special ingredient in here. This one here is one of my waste not want not ingredients. So what I've got in here is a little bit of butter. That's not my waste not want not, but my waste not want not ingredient is actually a little bit of anchovy oil. And you say, why anchovy oil? I want that really deep flavour, that salty sort of flavour, but I don't want it to overpower my my sauce. I just want that depth of saltiness that I can get from the anchovy oil. Don't ever throw it out, like it is gold. I make mayonnaise with it. It's absolutely sensational. So had some leeks left over from making potato and leek sauce. I'm absolutely just doing a fridge raid here. So we've got leeks and some leftover bacon. And so I'm literally just going to fry those off now and reduce that beautiful, pull that beautiful flavour out of caramelising these leeks. Now that's beautifully cooked down. Now I did tell you, if you put in our comments, you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you put in the comments, a particular comment, you have a chance to win one of our Oh My Chili cookbooks. Now, what are you going to put in the comments? You're going to go to your fridge and you're going to have a look in your fridge and you're going to tell me if you were making gnocchi and you had to do a fridge raid today in your fridge or pantry, what's your sauce going to be? And I want to see that in the comments. Okay, so these are beautifully cooked down and smelling gorgeous. We're going to throw in, that's probably, well, it's 2 very large cloves of garlic, but it's probably about a tablespoon of garlic. Again, adjust that to whatever you'd like. I'm just going to cook that off just for a little minute before I actually start making my sauce. Now I did say it's a fridge raid, so I have to go with what I've got in the fridge. And I don't have any cream, but I do have some milk that needed using up. So what I've done is, again, about a tablespoon of flour in there. Now before I add the milk, I'm going to add the flour. I've got some dried thyme there from some thyme that I was given that I've just let dry out naturally, and some pepper in that one. So I'm just going to add that, and I'm just going to quickly sort of stir that through, just to cook off the flour and coat the bacon and the leeks before I start gradually and gently adding my milk. But what we don't want to do is get any lumps. That's why we cook in our flour first, and we bring that beautiful rich sauce. And make it a little bit richer, I'm just going to add some parmesan there. So I've got about a tablespoon of parmesan, and I'm literally just going to thicken that sauce up now, and we're going to serve that over the top of our beautiful gnocchi. So we've had these potatoes cooking away, and I just wanted to show you now I can actually get my fork through. I'm going to turn those off. Okay, so our potatoes have cooled enough for us to actually start using them. Now you can stick them on a fork like this and gently peel off the skins. I find though I don't really need to, because I can literally just stick them straight in my potato ricer, push them through the potato ricer. If you don't have one of these, they're gold, they're amazing, and perfect for gnocchi. But the other alternative is to peel your potatoes and mash them. But the best part of this is that I do that and my skin just comes straight out. So I don't fiddle around when I'm using the ricer with the skins. You can see there's no skin coming through there. Perfect. So we've got our beautiful steaming hot potato. Like it's so beautifully mashed. It's almost coming together now. John's just informed me he's going to be using the potato ricer next time he makes mashed potatoes. He's not going to bother peeling the potatoes. So Jackie's tips and tricks even work in my own home. So all I'm doing now is, I don't want to work that too much, all I'm doing now is let that cool down. But one tip and trick that's really useful on your potatoes, just have a feel between your fingers and feel like just the moisture level in that, because this is how we're going to work out, and they're nice, that's sort of quite floury, so I probably won't need 200 grams of flour. I'm going to start with 150 grams of flour when I bring it together. You want to use the right amount of flour because you don't want your gnocchi to be too dense, but if you don't use the right amount, it just disintegrates when you put it into the water. Okay. So my potatoes now cooled down enough that I can actually handle it. I don't want it to be too hot when I'm doing this part because I'm going to add an egg. So what I'm going to do is add half of this flour to my bench top, my nice clean bench top. Always have a nice clean bench top. So I can then add the egg and then the potato on top. And that's the other reason I want to cool my potato. I don't want my egg to actually cook in the heat of the potato. So now we're going to add our potato on top and we're going to start mixing that by hand. Very therapeutic making gnocchi at home. You know, not only do you end up with a beautiful result, you also, it's like playing with Play-Doh really, isn't it? You also get to play with the dough, and I find that therapeutic. I love making homemade pastas and homemade doughs. So you can see I brought my dough together nicely. It's a little sticky. You don't want it too dry, but you don't want it also sticking to the bench when you've got no flour down. I am going to lightly flour the bench now. You can see I didn't use all my flour. It's really, really important to have a dough that's sticky enough but pulled together enough that it's going to stay in the water. And if you're worried at this stage, have your water boiling in the background and do a little test one. And that way you're going to know whether you need to add a little bit more flour or not. But once you've made it a few times, you're going to get used to it. But remember, every batch of potatoes is different. Every batch is going to have a different water content, and every batch is going to give you a different result. So let's now form some of our gnocchi. So we're just going to spread some of this over the surface here, because once I actually start rolling out my gnocchi, I don't want it to stick. So we're just going to gently roll. So really light fingers here. We don't want to roll too much. We don't want to compress it too much because we don't want dense gnocchi. Oh, this dough is feeling beautiful. It's, now how would I explain this? It should have the feeling of, like your bread, a soft breast. You see I'm wearing my apron today because you get a little bit dirty, but no problems here in the kitchen with this flour. So all I'm going to do now, I've rolled it out, it's fairly consistent in shape. I can just pull it off into little pillows now, flip those off, and I can just use my gnocchi like that if I like. I've got this beautiful board. I love the beautiful shapes that they make, and there's our beautiful shape. I'm just going to pop that on a floured surface because the sauce sticks in those little ridges. If you don't have one of these lovely little boards, then, you know, just down the back of a fork and you'll get the similar result with down the back of the fork. So, I've had a little bit of help. We've now done all of our gnocchi. We've got two great big plates like this. So I'll cook some today for lunch and we'll freeze some of the rest. You can take them straight from the freezer and throw them in your hot water. So I always make a good batch and freeze some. I'm going to let these sit now 20 minutes, 30 minutes until I come back from a meeting, and then we're going to cook those up and have those with our beautiful refrigerated sauce. Okay, we're back now, and water has a rolling ball. So we're going to start to pop our gnocchis in. So we're going to pop those in, and you'll know when they're cooked when they start rising to the top. But the very, very exciting thing is they're not breaking up. And that was, you know, obviously that first one or two you put in, you go, are they going to be the right consistency? I let these sit out for about 45 minutes. They're still beautiful and pillowy, and that's what we're looking for. So all my gnocchi are now starting to rise to the top. I've got beautiful, beautiful, pillowy but firm gnocchi, which is exactly what I wanted. And now we're just going to add them to the sauce. Our gnocchi, beautiful, beautiful gnocchi. But I needed to look a little nicer, and I wanted to get the big pepper mill out. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of this beautiful pepper on top. And then a nod to some of the herbs that are in the sauce, some thyme.
What about a bit of parmesan?
There's parmesan in the sauce, Johnny.
Okay.
So, this is homemade gnocchi. Beautiful, I've got lots left over. That's going in the freezer in bags so that I can pull it straight out. When you cook it from frozen, just cook an extra couple of minutes. But here we are with our leek and bacon cheese sauce, my fridge raid sauce. Now, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be getting a video every Thursday. That's my commitment to you. And my commitment to myself as well. So let me know if there's anything you'd like to see cooked. But also, if you want to win a copy of Oh My Chili, subscribe to our YouTube channel and then put in the comments what you have in your fridge raid sauce. Remember, go look in your fridge. I'm looking forward to seeing some really creative suggestions.